Hey guys, back here with another video. I apologize for the lack of content. It seems like I've been constantly sick the past couple of months, and I even had a short stay in the hospital recently, so I'm hoping I've finally got all that over with and don't have to worry about it anymore, but we'll see. So I apologize for any lack of content recently, but that's what's been going on. But anyways, I want to talk about political porn. It's a good thing I'm not monetized, because I'm sure with YouTube's algorithm, the usage of the term political porn would probably prevent me from getting monetized. But actually, before I continue, I do want to preference this by saying that I'm not a psychology major, nor do I work in that field as a professional in any capacity whatsoever. So this is just a random dude on the internet collecting data points and talking about them. So if I'm wrong about any of this, please let me know. But I was talking to a good friend of mine recently, and I mentioned that our friendly neighborhood socialist, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortrez, was being used by the media as like political porn. And I was saying that in reference to the idea of her is like pornography to our woke generation. I was convinced that the political fetishization, if that's not a word, it is now, of AOC had the same psychological triggers and rewards as a good old incognito jaunt over to Pornhub. I had nothing really to back that up, but my friend said it might be a good video, so here we are. So the idea had been brewing for a while to do a video, but it wasn't until I stumbled over a Forbes article by Todd Isig, I think that's his name, I apologize if I get it wrong, from January 2019 in regards to Trump's State of the Union, that was titled Trump's Political Porn and the State of the Union. In the introduction, he had this to say. What I argued was that Trump's fundamentally, at least from a psychological point of view, a purveyor of political porn, gratifying the pleasures of hate. And this got me thinking, what is hate? I mean, if you look at the modern progressive movement, it seems that hate is a common theme in their messaging. With things like it's okay to punch a Nazi, and the idea of deplatforming and banning people, and just not from social media, but from actual venues. Screaming at people on a plane or in a restaurant, bashing people's heads in with a bike lock. The list really goes on. Even Marxism itself, which they love to espouse as the solution to all of our problems, can't exist without hate. It's about the class struggle, hating those that are more successful than you. And you can say that, it's not hating. The core motivation of it is hate. In those socialist societies, the revolution never ends, the struggle never ends, and saying otherwise is a threat to the structure of socialism, which is why oppression of such speech requires an authoritative state that hates its own people. So what is the psychology of porn? There's been countless studies of the effects of porn and masturbation on the brain. So the science is, I would say, fairly settled in the matter. I looked back and I found an article from the Telegraph back in September of 2017 in regards to a Cambridge study back in 2014. The article said, undeniably, heavy consumption can have clear consequences, especially for those already inclined towards compulsive sexual behavior. In 2014, a Cambridge University study found that pornography triggers brain activity in sex addicts in the same way drugs trigger drug addicts. So we know that drug abuse, or just substance abuse in general, usually stems from a void in their life, and they use it to self-medicate. So the same triggers and rewards in porn addiction is the same as drug addiction, although I'm sure in varying degrees. Now, when someone masturbates, not only is dopamine released, but oxytocin is released as well. And this has been called the love hormone, but I think that's kind of a misnomer. There was a study at the University College of London that mapped the brain when someone was shown a picture of someone they hated versus someone they loved. And there's numerous articles online written about this, but one of the best summations I found was actually from a publication called Nautilus called Why Your Brain Hates People. And I don't know anything about this publication, so if they're truth or not, but looking at the original study and then reading their summation, it appears that they're reporting fairly correctly. So they said in here, the brain's fault lines dividing us from them are also shown within the hormone oxytocin. It's famed for its prosocial effects. Oxytocin promotes people to be more trusting, cooperative, and generous. But crucially, this is how oxytocin influences behavior towards members of your own group. When it comes to outgroup members, it does the opposite. The automatic unconscious nature of us versus theming attests to its depth. This can be demonstrated with the fiendishly clever implicit association test. Suppose you're deeply prejudiced against trolls. Consider them inferior to humans. To simplify, this can be revealed with the implicit association test, where subjects look at pictures of humans or trolls coupled with words with positive or negative connotations. The couplings can support the direction of your biases, e.g. a human face with the word honest and a troll face with the word deceitful, or can run counter to your biases. And people take slightly longer, a fraction of a second, to process discordant pairings. It's automatic. You're not fuming about clannish troll business practices or troll brutality in the Battle of Somewhere in 1523. You're processing words and pictures, and your anti-troll bias makes you unconsciously pause, stop by the dissonance linking troll with lovely or human with malodorous. With this, oxytocin, which is produced during porn consumption and masturbation, is also a chemical that is used to strengthen our hates against other outgroups, or against our outgroups. In an article by The Atlantic, it references an April 2012 study from the University of Florida. Past studies have shown that conservatives tend to be happier than liberals. Republicans are happier in their marriages. Similarly, this current study also found that economic, but not social conservatives were more satisfied with their lives. Conservatives also tend to do the kinds of things that lead to happiness, like getting married and having children, and yes, going to church. Even though this study accounted for religiosity, social connections like the kind we make at the house of worship makes us feel happy. And there's been actually many studies that have found that not only are conservatives happier, but more content with their lives than their liberal counterparts. And as I said before, modern progressivism tends to at best dislike their outgroups. The outgroup being the evil MAGA hat wearing white man, and at worst they hate them, which is commonly expressed by the blue checkmark social class on Twitter. Within 5 seconds, you can find examples of that. And AOC, who has no substance in her policy, and espouses Marxism as a solution, she regularly tweets and grandstands Congress with her vitriol. And it's playing into the media's hands of stoking the fires of hate among the masses, because it's political theater. And it's not only political theater, it's political porn, because it's causing these people to hate their outgroups. As I mentioned in the Nautilus article that was talking about that one study, the hate is not driven by, oh, this group of people did something bad in the War of 1523. It's much more simple than that. All you need to do is present a picture of a troll, in this case of that study, with some sort of derogatory term, and it triggers those hate mechanisms. And we see that today with things like the MAGA hat being considered as the new KKK hood. And so you're creating that's creating the same thing as you see in porn. It's creating the same triggers. While it may not be actual porn, it's the same triggers that are in porn. And the people can't get enough of it. For the progressives, which we know, they're not happy with their lives, and they're eating it up because it's providing that chemical reward to them. The same sort of reward as watching someone being railed on Pornhub while you rub one out. They're addicted to it, and as it plays out on Twitter and TV. And it's a detriment of our political discourse. So I don't know what the answer is. I do think the media is allowing it to happen, and I don't know if it's knowingly or not. But we are seeing the effects of porn being played out en masse to large groups of people, and it's actually very disturbing. So anyways, if you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a like. Please subscribe, and please leave a comment. I'm always willing to talk about these points and just have, and I'm always open for constructive criticism. So anyways, I hope you guys take care. Thank you for watching.